So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Racing Force webinar organized on the occasion of the TP ICAP Investors Conference. We're very pleased to have with us Mr. Alex Miotto Haristos, CEO of the company. For those who are not familiar with the company business, Racing Force is the global leader in motorsports, safety, innovation, and performance. Racing Force Group is the only company in the motorsport industry to offer such a comprehensive range of products. Before giving the floor to Mr. Alex Miotto-Haristos, I would like to point out that you'll be able to ask questions at the end of the presentation. You can use the chat system displayed at the bottom of your screen, and they will be answered at the end of this presentation. So, Alex, if you like, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Thomas. And let me entertain you for the next few minutes with the business of Racing Force in motorsport. So let's start with the motorsport and let's see what are the things that we know about motorsport and that we think about when we look at this sport. And I'm sure that this slide is pretty self-explanatory. And when we think about motorsport, we think about the fierce competition, we think about the danger of the sport, but also the history, the high performance, the very high visibility, a global sport that we see on TV, the star drivers and the big money involved in the sport and the glamour. And all of this, it is very much true and very well portrayed by the very successful series of Netflix, Drive to Survive in Formula One. And apart from being a big contributor to the popularity of the sport, when you are watching Drive to Survive, well, chances are that when the drivers are in action, you are looking at our products. In fact, our presence on the grid of Formula One is unparalleled. We work with more than 70% of drivers on the grid. And what you see in this image is actually what we provide to them. So all the racing kit of the driver, from the helmet to the race suit to the shoes and underwear. But let's get a little bit further into motorsport. And motorsport today is a growing and attractive market, at the pinnacle of which we find Formula One. And the Formula One attendance is right now really staggering and growing in the last few years. The TV viewers, it's just incredible. And very importantly and very interesting, like the demographics, they are pretty surprising, with more than 40% women and a very young segment between like 16 and 24 that is the one that is growing the fastest. Formula One is attracting a lot of new sponsors, very global name and not necessarily related to the motorsport. And here you can see some example, but also is attracting the Hollywood production, like the new Brad Pitt movie about Formula One. That is also another bigger collaboration that Racing Force has, providing all our products for the movie that will go out next month. But let's get down to business a little bit more. And what is the competitive landscape of motorsport? When we are looking at the market, we are looking at a strictly regulated market with a very strong barrier to entry. Very, very important element for us. And a market that is highly concentrated with a few major competitors, as you can see on the right side of the slide, are represented by that chart. The rest of the players, they are small, but there are like 3 big players. And now we are the leading one, and we are concentrated in the same area. And what is like the main features of like these players, and in particular about Racing Force? Well, having a very wide range of products. Actually, Racing Force has the biggest range of products for drivers and for racing cars in the market, covering all the segments, from the champions that we were mentioning before, so Formula One, World Rally Championship, and all the major important series of professional drivers, down to the amateur. Approximately 80% of our products, they are regulated by federation. That means there are homologated products for safety, another very important element of the business. And they are the choice of the vast majority of professional drivers in top series. Another very important element of our business is the R&D. And I'm going to be mentioning this also in the next few slides. What we have is a strong know-how that is integrated into our R&D centers across 2 continents. The focus on safety and innovation to bring performance on the track is extremely important for us and a very a strong element that constitutes our competitive advantage. The continuous R&D project is the way that we look at ourselves and that we consider our company, an R&D center with manufacturing capability. But let's have a look at Racing Force, who we are and what we do. By now you understood that we operate in the development and the production of safety and protection equipment for the motorsport industry. As you can see in the map, we work in 3 continents, in Europe, in the Middle East, and in the US. And with these 3 main hubs, we serve the rest of the world, so more than 80 countries worldwide. We operate throughout a number of brands, of which you can see on the left side of this slide, the top 2, OMP and Bell, very iconic brands of motorsport, and the others, newer, Zero Noise, our electronic business unit, Racing Spirit, Lifestyle, and HPS that sits outside the perimeter of motorsport, and we will talk about this a little bit later. And here, this is our secret recipe. How do we retain our leadership in the market? How do we succeed? How we are the champions at what we do? And first is, as I mentioned before, research and development. This is our nature. Our strategy is always go into the market, develop the best product in the world, having our champions at the top of the sport, adopting our technologies and our products, and then retaining the core of this technology and scale it down and serve the rest of the market. So we have 60 new products that were successfully developed for the current season across all our different product categories. We have development with the skier's eye in our electronic department, but also in the space of defense. Another feature of our strategy on how we succeed is having a global footprint. We have a headquarters in 3 continents, as we said, and we have a very diversified customer portfolio. That means that our dealers across the world, they are very pulverized and they cover more than 80 countries. We have an international teams that work across cultures and geographies, and we have a global sourcing of material. The third element is a highly integrated supply chain. To work fast, to work well, and to be effective in our market, we have to be highly integrated. That means that we develop, we design, and we produce a lot of our products, especially, of course, the important ones. And having a well-controlled value chain is extremely important for us and to deliver the right service to our customer. On top of that, we are expanding all our headquarters worldwide to support our growth, but we are also integrating local suppliers into our supply chain to increase the efficiency, as well as integrating into our manufacturing process other products. And now, let's get a little bit outside of the perimeter of the homologated products, and let's see what the opportunities are to grow our business further. About the communication technologies, and I will go back to the first slide that we were seeing. Like when you watch a series like Drive to Survive, when you watch a Formula One race, a lot of time you will find yourself watching through the eye of the driver. When you are doing this, this is because This is enabled by our technology called the driver's eye. You'll see here a picture of Lewis Hamilton. If you notice, very small on the side of his eye, there is a very small camera. Well, this camera, this micro camera, is the smallest and lightest camera in the world for live TV broadcasting. It was patented by Racing Force, and it was homologated by the FIA. And it's a unique technology, and it's the only one in the world. Nowadays, we serve major championships worldwide. You can see on the right side of the slide, Formula One, NASCAR, supercars, Formula E, and with a great addition this year of also IndyCar. But this technology has the potential to go outside the perimeter of motorsport, and the request was to serve other sports. We picked skiing as the major platform to use this technology in TV broadcasting and bring it to other sports. So you can see some image in this slide. We are currently working with the FIS, with the Fédération Internationale du Ski, and with OBS, the Olympic Broadcasting Services, to bring this integration to reality. It was a project in partnership with Oakley, and an integration not in a helmet, but in a ski goggle. But there are also other applications that are outside the perimeter of the sport itself, and they will bring us to the defense. And let's talk a little bit more about these projects, because defense project and defense, they are completely outside of the scope of what we do in motorsport, but they are actually faithful to the core identity of the group. So we decided to diversify our business into Millipol because it represents a great opportunity, a great potential that is able to change the face of our group, but mainly for one reason. We develop incredible technologies that are very high performing and are safety devices. So for this reason, a very similar market is the one of defense, in which everything that we do that is not dedicated to mass production, we can do delivering the high value, high margin products. And here are the projects that we have in our pipeline. Well, this that you can see is we are portraying like a Formula One helmet, and our helmet for the US Air Force. What you are looking at is the technology of Formula One and the carryover of this technology into the jet pilot's helmet. The comfort, the weight, the shape of the helmet, and the fact that it's so compact and small, all of these factors that we retain in Formula One, well, they are very important also for fighter jets. So we participated to this tender a few years back. We won the tender, and we are now in the process of serving the US Air Force and the Top Guns that represent the pinnacle of the defense industry. So this was a very successful start into the defense area with an elite customer like the Top Guns, and now, as I said before, we retain the core technology and we develop further. And here, in a nutshell, is what we are doing. We have developed a Gladiator helmet, a helmet dedicated to the SWAT teams, a ballistic helmet, and a riot helmet. So a lower product for police enforcement and for the riot environment. We are in the process this year to obtain full certification of both the Riot and Gladiator helmet. We are starting participating in tenders, and we are intensifying commercial activities in the 3 continents that we cover. Again, these projects, they are very important for our business because although they are, defense is a niche market, is not a niche market and so such an elite sport. So the potential for this project is to have a great impact on the size of our business in the next few years. So our next steps would be to grow an extended portfolio of customers worldwide, but also increasing our offering of products and cover other military segments with other protective material, and also the integration of our electronic technology, such as the driver's eye, to increase the situational awareness and integrating with an AI engine. So let's wrap it up and let's look at the trajectory of our business. In here, we cover like the last 4 years. In 2021, Racing Force Group got listed first at the Milan Stock Exchange, then in the Paris Euronext growth. From there, we experienced a very big growth in the coming years. And a very important element, we were able to deploy our investment plan to restructure and re-engineer our organization and to carry out all our R&D projects. But a very important element of the last few years is, although we did all that, we obtained a profitable growth. And our results, well, they speak for themselves, with a 12% compounded annual growth between 2021 and 2024, and more than 300 new products being developed in 5 years. And now what we are looking at is that basically we created the foundation for the years to come. We prepare the structure, we prepare the people, the supply chain, the R&D to deliver more and to cover the projects that I mentioned before, such as the one of defense. And where do we want to go in the next few years? We want the undisputed leadership in motorsport worldwide. We are today the leader, but we are still areas that we can cover. So we want a premiership in the US market. We want to be the leader of the growth in a very faster growing area of the world, that is the Asian market. And we want to strengthen our competitive advantage in Europe. We want, therefore, to establish Racing Force Group as a top player in the defense industry, and we want to obtain an operational excellence through the optimization of our supply chain.
Many thanks for this presentation. It was really, really interesting. I do have a first questions. What can be the barriers from your competitors to enter the motorsport industry?
Yeah, this is a good question, because motorsport has a great barrier to entry. And first of all, when you have to develop a product, you need a number of elements. That is not just one barrier, but it's a whole ecosystem that you need. So first of all, when you have to enter the market and produce like safety products, you need a sort of an endorsement to be able to be called by the FIA, the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, that is the one that regulates our sport. So you have to be a credible supplier for the market. And this is a bit of a vicious circle, because if you are out, you are not credible, but to be able to play the game, you have to be in, and this is first. But also, when you have to develop a product, you need to do it on the field. We always stress the fact that we have a very strong relationship in every corner of the motorsport with the top teams, with the top drivers, and they are not just our ambassadors that bring our brands and increase like the visibility of what we do, but they are the ones that we collaborate with to develop our next generation of products. So you understand that this closed circle in motorsport constitutes like a very big barrier to entry. And once you are in, you get the credibility, you get the endorsement, and so on. And it's a great responsibility to maintain as well. You know, it's a very high bar. It's a performance industry, and it's very, very difficult to get in.
Very clear, thank you. And can you maybe come back further on your commercial strategies in motorsport, and who are your portfolio customers?
Sure. The majority, more than 60% of our revenues, they come from dealers. So as I mentioned before, we cover 3 continents with our headquarters. We are in the Middle East in Bahrain, we are in Italy with our parent company, and we are in the US. With these 3 headquarters, we served a sales network of dealers and distributors around the world. They are a very important presence for us. And so they are the most cherished, let's say, part of our sales network. Other than this 60+% of revenues, we have all the relationship with teams. For example, in Formula One, this year we have a very strong relationship through the partnership with Adidas, and we work with the Mercedes. So we have a work that we do with team, also in, I don't know, the World Rally Championship and so on. So the work that we do directly with the professional teams. Then there are the car manufacturers. So for example, you look at WRC, you would look at like Toyota, Hyundai. These are the car manufacturer we work with, or Ferrari, for example, and we provide all the car parts for them to build, like the racing cars and also the kit for the drivers. And then there is a technology such as the driver's eye that goes directly to the series, to the ones that hold the media rights and they have to produce content. So we provide a technology as a service, not as a product, for the media rights holder to produce content for TVs around the world. And this is how diversified our portfolio is.
Many thanks. And in the presentation, you mentioned the defense industry in order to diversify your business. Can you maybe come back on this choice, and maybe why did you choose the defense industry?
This is a very interesting question, because I think it came at the same time that we created a Racing Force as a group, as the union of our brands, and we looked at what we had and in a strategic way, and trying to figure out what we could do other than motorsport, how we can grow our business further by a multiple. And we understood that again, the R&D and the technology that we collected in decades of activity is the most important thing that we have. And who can use that? And the answer was pretty easy, because the defense industry, they have a lot of similarities with the extreme element, with the safety component, with the protection component, but the performance component as well. So we understood we are not good at producing, like, uh, mass products that are made like to be super efficient, even cheap, and so on. We are good at producing like high value, high margin, high performing products. So the defense industry is a segment that can receive like what we do in the right way. So we decided to challenge ourselves, and we said, okay, let's use exactly the same strategy that we use in motorsport. Let's go for the top of the top. What is the Formula One here? They are the top guns. This is the US Air Force. Let's see if what we have is enough for them. And we won the tender. So we had our answer, and I think it was the right one.
So probably a very interesting potential in this business as well. In the presentation, you talk a lot about innovation, and especially the driver's eye. Where do you see the highest potential for the application in the near future?
I think, we start from a point that we sort of conquered like motorsport, and it was a very successful integration, almost like a breakthrough for the broadcasting. And I'm pretty sure that the other like major sports with the, where the audience is very important, like for skiing and other big sports around the world, they are going to be like good clients for this technology, and this is where we will focus further. But I strongly believe that that again, like the defense industry can make a very good use of this technology with the live transmission, and also changing part of our business model, because so far for the broadcasting, it's again a technology that we provide as a service, so we don't sell it as a product. But for the defense, then the volume will grow. We would sell it as a product, and we will have to assist them. So I can see a big potential in that area for this technology. Yes.
That's very, very interesting. If we stay in motorsport industry, in which geographies and which countries do you see room for further growth where you still have some potential to grow?
So right now, if you look at the group, Racing Force Group as a whole, we are the leader worldwide. We cover we have the widest range of products, and we are the biggest in size. But it is true that there are areas in which we can grow further. And one is the US. We are relatively new to the US market compared to our competitors. And in fact, we are player number 3 there. And we are player number 3 because we were lacking like a part of products that are homologated under a different homologation compared to Europe and the rest of the world. And this is a work that we've been doing in the last 3 years, and now we want to close the gap with the other 2 players. So the US still very important for us. There is a still like business that we can do there to grow further. And then the Far East is finally booming. Like motorsport is growing like very much. We are leading this growth in our market for drivers and equipment and car parts, and we want to be the leader, because it's not just about being player number 1 and generating revenues, but it's about shaping like the market and giving like a direction. Now that is finally growing as people were expecting, we think that the Asian market is going to be very rewarding for the years to come.
Alex, let me thank you for this presentation. It was really, really interesting to know more about Racing Force, a market leader with really great value creation for all stakeholders. I'm sure all the people connected have enjoyed it, and best of luck for the future. And thank you again for the presentation.
Thank you very much.